I've got a ton of Pokemon sitting around in Violet and Pokemon Home, and I figured, why not make the gyms a little more unpredictable? Here's the challenge. Before every gym battle, I'll spin a wheel and randomize a brand new team. Every gym, completely different. To keep it fair, I set myself some ground rules. I'm going to randomize my team before each gym. I'm not allowed to use items in battle. I match the number of Pokemon the gym leader has, and I gotta stay around the level of the ace. And if the wheel gives me something unevolved, I'm stuck with it. So for example, if I pull a Larvitar at level 50, it's staying a Larvitar. Skipping the entire intro, we are ready for our first randomized team. Since Katie has 3 Pokemon on her team, we are allowed 3 Pokemon. We have 2 wheels, one for the Pokédex and the other for the Pokédex number. Now let's spin for our first Pokemon. We get the Blueberry Dex and then number 130, which is Porygon 2. Unfortunately, all my Porygon 2s are high level, and trading this was way too much of a pain, so I just grabbed Porygon and moved on. The second spin lands on Paldea, and then 318, which is, wow, Tyranitar. Since level 30 is needed to evolve Larvitar, we have to stick with him for now. And the final spin is Paldea, and then number 53, which is Kirlia. So my shiny Ralts will be the final Pokemon. I get my team from Pokemon Home, and I needed a way to level my Pokemon quickly. I came up with one idea that didn't seem too bad, and that is XP candies. These candies can be obtained from a few places such as raid dens, or even on the ground, and that's how I'm gonna do it. I spent the next 30 minutes grabbing static drops to get my team up to the appropriate level. Now I made a mistake here, and let's see if you can spot it. Did you catch it? I didn't freaking set up my moves. But I did make it to the ace, which isn't too bad. I give Larvitar Rock Throw and Bite. I give Ralts Confusion and Hypnosis. And then for Porygon, I was unsure what normal move I could give it. And then I remembered we got Swift from Nemona. Now, the team is ready for the gym. Ralts comes out with hope in her eyes to deal some damage. Well, Ralts keeps getting her special attack dropped, and I need a plan to switch out, so Nimble is put to sleep. And I send out Larvitar, praying Nimble doesn't wake up. And he doesn't. He wakes up the next turn and sends out a painful double kick. Fortunately, Rock Throw takes out him and Tarantula, leaving the ace Teddiursa left. Larvitar needs to be sacked here for Porygon to safely come out, which the bug-boosted Furry Cutter gladly helps with. I change my plan and hopefully deal some damage with Ralts, but Teddiursa outspeeds. Porygon comes out and its ability download raises its special attack. We full send and Terra Porygon and use Swift, but Teddiursa once again outspeeds. Wait, we actually might win this. Swift comes out, but it doesn't KO, and Porygon goes down. I thought we had this. What exactly happened here? I mean, nevertheless, I came up with another strategy and went back in. Ralts put Nimble to sleep immediately, and I switched to Larvitar, hoping for much better luck. Nimble stays asleep for 2 turns, allowing me to Terra and Rock Throw Nimble and Tarantula, and then out comes Teddiursa just laughing at me as it Terras again. Larvitar takes the Fury Cutter, but dishing its super effective Rock Throw right back. But it lives? We know from the last battle, Porygon can live a Fury Cutter as long as it doesn't crit. Swift doesn't miss, so that confirms our Gym 1 completion. That wasn't too bad. This shouldn't be too hard of a gym challenge, right? Right? Now I need a new leveling method because the time it took to even grab those candies was like 30 minutes just for a few levels. There is a spot right by the Fairy Team Star location where Chanseys and Blissies spawn. I just need a high-level Pokemon that can fight them easily, but how can we do that? Well, actually, as of right now, there is a distribution event for Shiny Treasures of Ruin currently going on, so I grab them and test out Chien-Pao. Does he listen to me? He does. Oh my god. With Chien-Pao listening to me, I go to take out Cloth so I can start working on my mobility. Oh, wait, he doesn't listen. Uh-oh. Well, since Chien-Pao isn't listening to me, I spend way too long on this fight just for Chien-Pao to do a single hit. Well, not only is it because I only have 1 badge, but I'm also not the original trainer of this Pokemon. So, what now? I'm going to transfer my starter to my completed Scarlet game, beef it up to level 100, and yeet that sucker back right into Violet. I decided to test him out on Earthworm, and he listens. That's exactly what we want. Now it's randomizer time. We get the Kitakami decks, and I actually had 400 instead of 200, but we land on 55, so whatever. 55 is Nuzleaf, who evolves from C-Dot at level 14, so we can actually use it here. We spin and hit Kitakami once again, and number 11, who is Corfish, not the best for a grass gym. So hope is a little low. Now let's see if the final spin can actually save us here. And the final spin is Kitakami again. A trend, I see. We land on Oricorio, which is great, actually. There are 4 different types of Oricorio. We have Fire, Electric, Psychic, and Ghost. We randomize for those typings and get the Fire Flying, which is awesome. It would be great if it learned a frickin' Fire type move. But I'll take what I can get because flying is super effective to grass. With some breeding from Scarlet and grabbing from Pokemon Home, I have my team and head to start training. I completely forgot you do a Fairy Team Star fight here, which I didn't record, but I ended up winning and all my team is actually the level they need to be, so I got lucky here. Oricorio is going in with Pound and Air Cutter, Corfish with Water Gun, Harden, and Knockoff, and Nuzleaf with Tackle, Rollout, Razor Leaf, and Fake Out. This is only Gym 2, so I don't think we need anything super crazy here. So Oricorio leads, and I immediately throw by misclicking Pound. But Petlil's Mega Drain does barely any damage. Air Cutter hits, leaving a low roll for 1 HP on Petlil, which is super annoying. But Pound finishes off Petlil. Smoliv comes out and graces us with its presence for a second before exploding. Now this is great, pretty much a sweep. All that's left is the Ace Sudowoodo. See ya. Yeah, that Trailblaze boosted the speed way too much. See ya. Bruh. We need a better flying move. We were so close. I traversed to grab Air Slash, which is a 75 base power special flying move, which is exactly what we need. Alright, let's give it another go. Petlil and Smoliv both go down in one hit. With Sudowoodo coming out, I tear it a fire to stop the 4x weakness from sending me to the void, and send out Air Slash, which does good damage again, and it flinches. I outspeed, and this is Gym 2 down. I am full of confidence. That was a great fight. Now, let's randomize for Gym 3. So we land on Paldea and number 54, which is Clodsire. I love this derpy little boy. Second spin is the Blueberry Dex with number 121, and that's Scraggy. Not great, but we will roll with it. Next we roll Paldea again, and number 120, Salandit. Again, not great, but hopefully a 4th good spin. Paldea once again, number 285, Impidimp. Great. So here's our moveset. Impidimp has Flatter, Fake Tears, Sucker Punch, and Fake Out. Clodsire has Toxic Spikes, Mudshot, Yawn, and Amnesia. Scraggy has Leer, Low Kick, and Payback. Salandit has Scratch, Poison Gas, Ember, and Poison Fang. During the gym, I forgot about the gym challenge here, and Clodsire ended up leveling to 25, so now you see why the rules have the wording that they do. But whatever, battle time. Clodsire leads, and I plan on bulking him up, so I put Wattrel to sleep and start using Amnesia to up my special defense, and I send Toxic Spikes out. And then I Mudshot. I swear I know my typings. Out comes Salandit, who was able to poison Wattrel before going down, and then Scraggy comes up to pick up the KO, and Bellybolt comes in picking up the poisons from the Toxic Spikes. A Low Kick barely does any damage, but then drops to Spark. I send in Clodsire, and there is nothing Bellybolt can do here. Clodsire Toxic Spikes and then Amnesias until Bellybolt falls. Luxio comes out, and I try to yawn it to sleep, and it just doesn't work for some reason. But Mudshot drops Luxio, and Mismagius comes out. I yawn it, and with it asleep, I switch to Impidimp and realize I don't have much I can do here, so I just allow the match to end. I need another move for Clodsire besides a ground move, and I choose Poison Jab to replace Toxic Spikes. So let's give this another run. Clodsire leads and takes out Wattrel easily with Poison Jab. Now, I love this. Bellybolt doesn't know about Clodsire's ability, so it uses Water Gun and it heals him up. I use this time to fully max my special defense before taking Bellybolt out. Luxio with no problem with some Mud Shots. Mismagius comes out with a nasty Hex crit, nearly taking Clotsire out, but the Yawn and boosted special defense stats allow me to win with some poison jabs, and 3 full turns of sleep. I am on the top of the world right now, 3 gyms down. I'm able to randomize some more and get this challenge done. Now this high horse I'm on will soon kick me off. Let's find out our next team of Pokemon. We roll Kitakami and then number 63, who is the world champ itself, Pachirisu. Next is Kitakami again, and then number 148, Chandelure, who unfortunately has to be a Litwick because the level cap is 30 and Litwick doesn't evolve until 40. What a shame, a fire type at a water gym. Our final roll is once again Kitakami number 30, Staraptor. But once again, the level cap only allows Staravia, which isn't the worst thing. With the team chosen and trained up, here is our moveset. Pachirisu has Charm, Thunder Shock, Quick Attack, and Spark. Litwick has Confuse Ray, Hex, Will-O-Wisp, and Fire Spin. And Staravia has Quick Attack, Aerial Ace, Double Team, and Endeavor. Pachirisu leads, and we dropped the Veluza's attack, and was able to paralyze it with Spark. I Terra for the boost in electric attacks, but it just wasn't enough, and Pachirisu goes down to an unfortunate crit. Staravia goes in and is able to take down the Veluza, but when Wugtrio comes out, it smacks a crit itself. Then we get the gooey speed drop, which sucks. Another headbutt takes Staravia out. Litwick doesn't stand a chance here and goes down to a water pulse. Okay, we're just underprepared, nothing to be worried about. The world champ just needs some upgrades. Since the opponent's team has both defensive and special defensive coverage, I want to be ready for this. So I get Thunderbolt and Thunderfang. Now let's give this another go. Pachirisu sends out the newly upgraded Thunderbolt, and it doesn't do as much as I would have liked. But regardless, Veluza goes down after a second Thunderbolt. Wugtrio comes out and gets the flinch from a brutal headbutt. My plan was foiled. But I have a backup. Staravia comes out and cleans up Wugtrio and falls to Crabominable, perfect to switch in Litwick. Plan B is now in motion. I Terra Litwick to Ghost, losing its fire typing, and Crabhammer missed. This is huge. Litwick throws out a Will-O-Wisp to burn in half the attack of my opponent. Crabhammer incoming. Ooh, that's not good. The attack did more than half, but Hex returns some massive damage that will confirm a win next turn if the next Crabhammer misses. I pray to RNGesus, but the prayer goes unheard and Litwick goes down. My chest falls. I let out a breath and take a look at my team. What am I missing? Victory is so close. The last upgrade I can possibly do as far as I know is increase some damage and speed for the team. This can be done with Staravia by adding Brave Bird and Tailwind. Let's give this another go. Once again, Pachirisu opens up on Veluza and charms for the attack down. Veluza hits its normal Aqua Cutter and it crits, ruining my plan once again. The team falls to Wugtrio. This is just a fluke, right? Just being unlucky? I considered giving up. I wanted to get this video completed before Legend ZA released, but it's been almost a week and I haven't beaten the 4th gym. I had a backup video I could do, so I booted up Brilliant Diamond, and my wife looked over and said, "You're giving up already? You stopped making videos for a year and this is what you do?" She then came up with the idea to re-randomize. Why didn't I think of that? So I decided a new rule is to be added. If I fail 3 honest attempts, I can re-randomize. Now, let's run this back. The first spin lands on Blueberry number 222, which is Torracat. A starter! A shame it's a fire type, but we'll see where this takes us. The second spin is once again Blueberry, but number 229. This one's Rillaboom. Now this is a huge hit. This will have to be Thwacky, but still, a grass starter is massive. The final spin is Kitakami and the number 138, Mindshao, but the evolution level is 50, so Mindfu it is. Let's look at the team. Mindfu with Sunny Day, Force Palm, U-Turn, and Fake Out. Thwacky with Scratch, Swords Dance, Seed Bomb, and Solar Blade. Finally, Torcat with Scratch, Growl, Flare Blitz, and Crunch. Each team member has a role, and we're going to get past this gym. Mindfu leads with little damage in with Fake Out, but Veluza once again ruins my plan with a crit, taking out Mindfu. This is fine, I got starters on my team, and Veluza once again crits, taking out Torracat. I'm over this gym. Let's get Thwacky out and put him in the grave. He takes out Veluza, no problem. Then with Wugtrio, he Terras and Swords Dance for the big attack boost. Headbutt does nothing, and Seed Bomb drops Wugtrio. The Crabominable comes out, and Seed Bomb comes in hot, claiming another victim. Gym 4 done. The relief I feel is like no other. Let's complete this challenge. Now let's randomize our next team. The first spin is Blueberry and the number 164, and that's Bulbasaur. Not too exciting, but I'll take a starter. The second spin is Kitakami and the number 75, and that's for Toedscruel. This is a fun choice because I never used Toedscruel, even in the main game. I'm actually excited for this one. The final spin is Blueberry. Wait, 220? That's starter range again. Decidueye. Now this is huge. A ghost type for a normal gym? The Staraptor at the end is spooky, but this is actually really awesome. Now here is the team for the gym. Toedscruel has Giga Drain, Stun Spore, Earth Power, and Mudshot. Bulbasaur doesn't have much usage, unfortunately, with Tackle, Growl, and Sunny Day. And Decidueye has Solar Beam, Nasty Plot, Energy Ball, and Spirit Shackle. For this team, I lead with Bulbasaur to set up Sunny Day, and hopefully avoid sleep with my other two team members. I switch out Bulbasaur with Decidueye, and this guy frickin' reads me, and Kamala uses Yawn again. I want to take this one out ASAP, and I use Solar Beam, but Kamala has Sucker Punch, which hurt quite a lot. Solar Beam didn't do that much, and now I'm asleep. Kamala uses Sucker Punch again, and I realize that this is the only damaging move he can use because of my ghost typing. Interesting. Since Sucker Punch only works if I'm using a damaging move, I'm gonna PP Sol with Nasty Plot. Decidueye takes out both Kamala and Dunsparce, no problem. The Ace Staraptor comes out, and I'm ready to take my next gym badge. But Staravia outspeeds and takes my entire team out. What? If it's speed I need, let's give Decidueye Tailwind, and I'll set this up on Dunsparce to prepare for Staravia. I take on the gym again, and when I set up Tailwind on Dunsparce, he uses Glare, which paralyzes me. This sucks, but I learned something very crucial here. Staravia used his Aerial Ace, and I survived it. And Decidueye couldn't move because of paralysis, because of course that would happen. Last fight, I took that Sucker Punch from Kamala, causing the Aerial Ace to KO. Oh, this fight is so over. Alright, attempt number 3. I set up on Kamala, take out the Dunsparce, and when Staraptor comes out, I take that Aerial Ace, and down goes the bird for the badge. Let's go. That was actually awesome. Let's go to Gym 6. Time to randomize. First, we land on Kitakami and number 145, Magcargo. I never used this Pokemon ever, so I'm interested to see how it will perform. Next roll is once again Kitakami. This feels super rigged, I won't lie, but we get 33. Applin. Kinda useless, honestly. Our third roll is Blueberry and the number 93. And that's Hitmonlee, my beautiful fighting type for a ghost gym. The last roll is Blueberry once again, and number 174. Bayleaf. Another starter, and one of my favorite evolution lines that I'm so excited to use in ZA. Let's get this team set up. Hold, please. So we have our Bayleaf kind of as support with Reflect and Light Screen. Then we just got Leech Seed and Magical Leaf. Applin, completely useless. It can learn Sucker Punch with an egg move, but I'm not wasting my time for that. So it has Withdrawal and Astonish. I'm going to lead with Applin to make it like a target to allow Bayleaf to at least get Reflect up, since most of them are physical hitters. Then we have Hitmonlee, and with him I had Sucker Punch and Blaze Kick as the two focused moves. Helping Hand, maybe to help Mag Cargo. I'm just gave it an assist move, and then Screw Tackle. I couldn't find or think of anything else. And then Mag Cargo has Earth Power, Amnesia, Lava Plume, and Rock Slide. So it's got the options, different options for special attack moves, and then Amnesia, maybe against the final Toxtricity, because it's the only one that'll be using special attack moves. So yeah, let's give her a go. Thanks, Past Zack. Let's give this gym a run. I execute my plan with Bayleaf and Applin leading, and have Bayleaf give the team some protection with Reflect. Mimikyu ends up using Slash on Bayleaf, and Banette uses Icy Wind, exploding the Applin and dropping Bayleaf's speed. Super unfortunate. Rhyme gets a boost from the crowd, but thankfully it's for accuracy. I want Bayleaf to try and stay alive, so she starts using Leech Seed. Hitmonlee hits hard with Sucker Punch, but it doesn't KO. My team ends up receiving an attack and special attack boost from the crowd. This is super helpful. Banette goes down to Sucker Punch and is replaced with Houndstone. We also get another boost from the crowd. Hitmonlee Sucker Punches the Mimikyu, dropping its Disguise ability, and Hitmonlee nearly goes down to Play Rough from Houndstone and gets the attack drop. I get a nice speed boost from the crowd. Hitmonlee goes to take out the Houndstone, but it just wasn't enough, and is taken out by Mimikyu. Bayleaf is holding her own with the Leech Seed strat, constantly healing you, and it takes out Houndstone. Unfortunately, the team goes down when Toxtricity takes the field, but I got vital information here, and we need Hitmonlee to live. Let's retry this. We start with Bayleaf setting up Reflect, and Applin goes down, but we send Mag Cargo in this time. She takes out Mimikyu's Disguise, but Bayleaf ends up going down to Icy Wind, allowing Hitmonlee to come out. What I learned is Mimikyu isn't much of a threat, so let's keep it in and we target the Bayonet, taking it out. The Leech Seed from Bayleaf on Mimikyu is being used on Hitmonlee. Mimikyu is officially a blood bag, keeping Hitmonlee alive. With the welcomed attack and special attack boost, Hitmonlee hits Houndstone, but he then vanishes with Phantom Force. This is scary, especially since Reflect wore off. Slash hits Hitmonlee, barely surviving, but Phantom Force hits Mag Cargo. This fight is winnable. I wanted to make sure I moved before Houndstone, so I chose Blaze Kick, which was enough, and Mag Cargo takes out Mimikyu with Earth Power. Now it's 2v1 with another boost. This Sucker Punch has to KO, or I lose. We did it! Freaking Gym 6 is over. We got good momentum. Let's keep it going. Now for a 7th gym team. The final spin lands on Blueberry and the number 85, which is Alomomola. Okay, sure, we can see where this one goes. The second spin is Blueberry once again, and the number 2, who is Dodrio. Now this one may prove useful. The third spin lands on Blueberry again. I feel like we haven't hit Paldea in a while, but whatever. We get number 133, Galvantula. Now this one is exciting. I hope this one does wonders for the team, honestly. And the final spin gives us Kitakami and the number 9, who is Volbeat. Okay, well, let's give it a go and see if the team's good enough. Wait here while I get the team set up. Alright, let's take a look at the team. So we got our Alomomola, who main purpose is setting up late screen. I also threw Wish in there to maybe be good for a switch out. And then we have Galvantula with Thunderwave, Electro Ball, Agility, and Sticky Web. He is very, very fast. Or she is very, very fast. So I think Electro Ball is a better choice over Thunderbolt. I feel like I'm going to regret that now. But the one who I hope will do the best is here with Dodrio. because I can set up Sword Stance and I have both Drill Peck and Throat Chop. So I got a stab move and then a super effective move since it's a psychic gym. And then Volbeat here has Skitter Smack, Tailwind, and Light Screen, so kind of a more supportive role. Skitter Smack can lower special defense, so hopefully we can make something of this team. Let's give it a go. I lead with Alomomola, who sets up Light Screen, and sets up Wish, so I can switch in Dodrio, who takes the Zen Headbutt, and then Wish heals up that damage. So this ends up worrying me, so I want to get rid of the threat, but Throat Chop doesn't do enough, and Zen Headbutt lands again. It didn't do as much damage this time with a low roll, so Dodrio Sword Stances, but let's hope he survives the next hit. Which she does! Throat Chop time! Out comes Gardevoir, and totally knowing my type matchups, I use Throat Chop, but it doesn't do enough, and Dodrio goes down to Psychic. I send Alomomola back out to set up Light Screen again, but Energy Ball has different plans. Volbeat is sent out for the backup Light Screen. He survives the next Psychic and takes out Gardevoir with Skitter Smack. This was unexpected, but you know what? We take those. Maybe he can handle a Spathra. Yeah, I would say there's no way that I live. Never mind. Next up is Galvantula, who sends out Sticky Web to allow Electro Ball to hit harder, but unfortunately this isn't the run, and Galvantula goes down. Now that I think about it, why didn't I give him a bug move? Whatever, let's try again. Let's change up my strategy here. I send out Alomomola to weaken Farigiraf instead with some Water Pulses, but ends up falling and Galvantula comes out, and Sticky Webs to slow the enemies that are sent out next. Galvantula nearly takes out Farigiraf, who misses with Zen Headbutt. I take the time to Agility to boost my speed, and Galvantula lives on 1 HP after Zen Headbutt. Farigiraf goes down, and Gardevoir survives the Electro Ball, taking out my Spider. I send out Volbeat to Skitter Smack, dropping the special attack. That drop allows him to survive Psychic and get another Skitter Smack off, KOing Gardevoir. Espathra comes out, and I have Volbeat get ready for Dodrio to come out with a Light Screen. He survives the Psychic for a cheeky Skitter Smack, which KOs? What? Florges comes out, and I feel super nervous now that I may have overdone Volbeat's usage here to allow Dodrio to properly sweep. I full send with Volbeat and Skitter Smack, which does really good damage here, dropping the special attack. Florges hits Volbeat with Moonblast, barely doing any damage, and Volbeat finishes the gym with one final Skitter Smack. Unbelievable on what just happened here. But Gym 7 is finished. I have one more gym left and I complete my challenge. What? You thought I was doing the Elite Four? Well, maybe. Don't look at the timestamp. That's cheating. All depends if I have time. Alright, let's move on to Gym 8. And let's get our team. First spin is Kitakami, and the number 44, the monster itself, Gyarados. What a great pick. I'm excited for this one, honestly. The next spin was, shocker on this one, Kitakami. Then number 108, Probopass, which is pretty unique. I dig it. The third spin grants us Blueberry number 140, Axew. A horrible choice for a nice gem. This is unfortunately a useless one. The last spin is actually a shocker with Paldea. Number 373, our very own Vaulting Veluza. How poetic to end the final gym on the one from the gym that gave me the most problems. Alright, pass Zack, how we looking with the new team? Okay, so we're ready. We have our team. We have our Axew. We have Crunch, Dragon Dance, Breaking Swipe, and Outrage. I'm just kind of planning on Dragon Dance in here and then Breaking Swipe and maybe Outrage towards the end. Terra Outrage. So we'll see how that goes. Veluza, I couldn't find much to do with our Veluza here. So Liquidation is kind of the big hitter for just the stab. I guess I could have done a Psychic, but what can you do? And then We have Gyarados, our big monster here with Crunch, Temper, Flare, Waterfall, and Dragon Dance. And then we have Probopass with Power Gem, Flash Cannon, Thunder Wave, and Stealth Rock. So we'll see how this team goes. I'm hoping Axew is kind of weak, but hopefully I can get a couple Dragon Dances off and I can just sweep. So let's see. I lead with Axew for a Dragon Dance and he explodes from a Blizzard. I kinda expected this. I send out Probopass and Terra Rock to take out Frostmoth with Power Gem. Beartic comes out and sends out a powerful Earthquake, but Probopass survives. Let's hope this Power Gem KOs. And it doesn't. Well, unfortunate. I send out my beautiful shiny Gyarados and start setting up Dragon Dances. Beartic goes down with Temper Flare. Next up is Titan, who eats this next Temper Flare. Alright, now I'm worried. I planned on this Gyarados being the one who takes the gym down. Now let's hope for a crit. And it doesn't happen. Well, this run's a bust. I'll just keep hitting him with Veluza until he falls. So Titan goes down, and with Altaria out, it Terras and uses Hurricane, which nearly takes out Veluza. Liquidation doesn't do much, so I'm planning my next strat. Ooh, and it missed. What a shame. Oh, the crit. The crit brings it home. Wow. Dude, that crit, though. The crit brought down the 8th gym. I cannot believe that just happened. And what a way to end the gym, too. That's all 8 gyms down. So I got time to take on the rest of the battles, but I'm making a couple rule changes so I can get this done. If I land on a pre-evolved Pokemon, I can evolve it. And also, I will have a full team. That's it. Let's finish up this pathway. For our randomizer, our first stop is on Kitakami, and then the spin lands on number 41. And that lucky Pokemon is Poliwrath. Great Pokemon. I'm excited to see this one. He's a pretty cool guy. The second spin lands us on Blueberry, and then the number 122, and that is Scrafty. Pretty cool since we used Scraggy earlier in the run. Our next spin gets us Blueberry again and number 140. We had this one before being Axew, but I'm letting myself use Haxorus this time. Another spin lands on Paldea with number 63, Curlia, who's gonna be a Gardevoir. Here we go with the next spin, and it lands on Blueberry once again, and number 234, Drizzle, who's going to be Inteleon. Haven't used this one since Pokemon Shield, so that's really awesome. The final spin on the randomizer, hopefully, is Paldea, and then onto lucky number 233, Honchkrow. I've never used this one before, so let's get trained up and ready to go. Alright, let's take a look at our team. So we got my Japanese Inteleon here, who has Snipe Shot, Ice Beam, U-Turn, and Shadow Ball. And I also gave him the what mint is that? The Modest. Gave him the Modest mint. And he is also holding the Wise Glasses to help boost the special moves. And then we have Poliwrath, who has Throat Chop, Drain Punch, Waterfall, and Hypnosis, and I gave him the Adamant Mint. Oh, I think this Inteleon already had Modest, and I gave it the Mint. Oh, whatever. So, gave him the Adamant Mint, and he is holding the Muscle Band to improve his physical moves. And then we have Haxorus, who has Dragon Claw, Iron Head, Poison Jab, and Sword Stance, who I gave the Adamant Mint as well. And he also has the Muscle Band, or she also has the Muscle Band. I wanted to give her something else, like the other one that's like Choice Specs, but it's for physical, but I don't have it in the shop, so I couldn't do it. And then we have our Honchkrow, who has Tailwind, Nasty Plot, Foul Play, and Brave Bird. And I gave, what mint? I can't remember, but it boosts the speed. I just wanted to give her just a little bit more, speed. and she is holding the Sharp Beak to improve her flying type moves. And then we have Scrafty, who has Crunch, Fire Punch, Brick Break, and Thunder Punch. Wanted to kind of give a little bit more coverage, especially Thunder Punch when it comes to our flying type Elite Four member. Gave her the mint that boosts defense but lowers special attack. I kind of wanted to make Scrafty more of a bulky type Pokemon with the Rocky helmet, so anyone who does physical moves will take, chip damage. And then our last one, our Gardevoir, has Misty Terrain, Psychic, Moonblast, and Calm Mind. I pretty much made her the Dragon type trainer's worst nightmare. And I gave her the Choice Scarf to boost that speed. Unfortunately, her Terra type is Psychic, but it's whatever. She has Modest, I believe is the mint, to boost that special attack. So hopefully we can just, one-shot the entire dragons and call it a day. So that's our team. Let's go ahead and let's clear these last 6 fights. Our first fight is Rika, and I'm a level with you. Inteleon took out all of her Pokemon up to Clodsire, who I thought the move Snipe Shot ignores opponent's abilities, but I was incredibly wrong, and Inteleon went down, but Haxorus comes in and she picks up the KO. Poppy is next, and I lead with Poliwrath and used Waterfall because I keep forgetting Copperjaw is just Steel and not Ground Steel. So Poliwrath takes that punishment, but I was able to heal up and win with Drain Punch. Corviknight comes out and I know I'm cooked, so I allow Poliwrath to go down for a safe switch into Haxorus. She takes out both Corviknight and Bronzong with Dragon Claw, but goes down to Magnezone. Scrafty comes in to pick up the KO, and Tinkaton comes in and sends Scrafty out the door. And Inteleon comes in to finish up the match. The absolute GOAT Larry is up next, and I lead with Scrafty against his Tropius, who sets up the sun to later send out a Solar Beam, barely doing any damage, thankfully. And that allows Scrafty to pick up the KO. Altaria comes in and takes Scrafty out. Gardevoir is sent in, and I forgot how incredible of a Pokemon she is, and she took out Altaria no problem, along with Staraptor and Oricorio. She is unfortunately stopped at Flamigo, but Inteleon comes in with an Ice Beam to pick up the KO and finish the third Elite Four member. We have just 3 more fights. Hassel is next, and he is in for it. Every single Mon is destroyed by Gardevoir. What a powerhouse that fairy typing is against this member. It's champion time, and I want to give Scrafty some usage, but Lady Gaga made quick work of her. Such a shame, but whatever, we move on. Inteleon comes in to clean this up, and the next Pokemon is Go-Goat, which I didn't want Inteleon taking damage here, so I use U-turn to safely make the switch. I wanted to give Honchkrow some usage, so we send her out for a devastating Brave Bird, and that takes out the Go-Goat. Kingambit is next, and I used Foul Play hoping for some decent damage, but got none of that, and was nearly punished for it, but Stone Edge thankfully missed. Since I know he will attempt that again, I switch out Honchkrow for Poliwrath for the resistance. Let's use Drain Punch, and a smack to the jaw takes out Kingambit. The Demon Veluza comes out, and I predict a Psychic move is incoming, so I switch into Haxorus, and he took the Psycho Cut damage. Haxorus' Dragon Claw does really good damage, and she tanks an Ice Fang thankfully, and was able to pick up the KO. Avalugg is my next threat, and Ice scares away Haxorus for Poliwrath to tank the next hit. Drain Punch comes out, and it doesn't do much to the bulky dining room table, but it only takes a few more Drain Punches to take it down. Glamora comes out and takes down Poliwrath, but all it takes is Inteleon to come out, and he finishes up the champion fight. Now one more fight to end this challenge, Nemona. My Pokemon have been a couple levels higher in these past fights, but here I am being the low one. But let's do this. I lead with Inteleon here against her Lycanroc, who goes down to Snipe Shot, and Pawmot comes out. Electric move incoming, so I switch out to Haxorus to tank the hit and does way too much damage for comfort. Pawmot outspeeds and Haxorus goes down. I send in Gardevoir, who Moonblasts and takes out the Pawmot, thankfully, and Nemona sends in Orthworm next. I feel like I'm forced to switch out a lot, which is a new thing for me, honestly. Poliwrath comes in and resists the Iron Tail and couple Drain Punches and takes the Fish Bait out. The Dunsparce comes out and Drain Punch cleans up here too. Goodra is up next, and I want to try and put Goodra to sleep, but she outspeeds and Poliwrath goes down. He did a great job here, dropping the other two Mons. Of course, I gotta send in Gardevoir against the Dragon type. A couple Moonblasts cleans this fight up. Now for the final Pokemon, Quaquaval. I want to try and do as much damage as I can because he's going to be boosting his speed with Aqua Step, which is a massive problem. Moonblast does about half, but Gardevoir goes down to Aqua Step. Honchcrow's next, and she survives an Ice Spinner, allowing Foul Play to come out, leaving Quaquaval in the red. We need one more solid hit. Honchcrow goes down, and my final Pokemon, Inteleon, comes out. Aqua Step hits, and Inteleon survives with plenty of HP, and Shadow Ball comes in and ends the entire challenge. Nemona has been defeated. This run was so much fun. I got to use Pokemon I don't normally use, which is a welcomed experience. Now don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this run. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in Legends ZA.